Man, you know we had to do this collab again.
Oh, we had to, man. The people were demanding it, man. So let's get into it, dude. Floyd Money Mayweather has come out and he's made some pretty crazy comments. And he says that a fight between him and Danny Garcia would shut down the Canelo and Amir Khan fight. So I think that's pretty outrageous comments, personally, bro.
Very, very outrageous.
What's your opinion on that? Because I think that's crazy to me.
Well, my first opinion on it, I thought Floyd was losing his mind when he first made those comments. I seriously thought Floyd was that he lost his last mind. I'm thinking, how does a guy go from you fight Manny Pacquiao, and I'm reading an article, there were 32 lawsuits filed because of the fraud. It was a fraud and defamation lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So you go from that fraud pay-per-view to fans suing to get their money back. Shit, I want my money back. I want my money back for that pay-per-view. I'm a very angry fan right about now.
Yeah.
So you had 32 lawsuits filed over that pay-per-view because fans felt that they were taken advantage of, and I'm one of those fans. So you go from that fight, then you fight Andre Berto. The fight does 400,000 according to Yahoo Sports.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the audacity to say that you can shut down a Amir Khan Canelo pay-per-view. I'm like, I'm thinking, what is this guy? I know he got a big ego. He's an egotistical guy.
Mm-hmm.
But how big is your ego to think that you can shut down Canelo Alvarez? This man got a whole Mexican nation backing him. How is you going to shut down that movement? Your comments, man. Your thoughts.
I think he's losing it, dude. Bro, I'm with you. I think he's losing it. I feel like what's going on with Mayweather is I feel like he can't accept that the boxing public has kind of rejected him. And I think it's kind of hurting him that it's kind of towards the end of his career. And, you know, when it's the end of your career, that's usually a lot of times when people kind of start to appreciate you. They kind of start to, you know, glorify your career and talk great about you. And unfortunately for Mayweather, and he has brought this on himself, what's happening is that he's getting a lot of criticism. People have a very bitter taste in their mouth. They're upset about the Pacquiao fight, like you said. You know, they're extremely mad about that. I mean, on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, I mean, anywhere where people could still voice their frustrations, people are still talking about, you know, the quote-unquote fight of the century. They're upset about it. And then the next thing that he followed up with that was with a joke of a fight versus Andre Berto. You know, this was a terrible opponent who was very overmatched in the fight. And the worst thing about the fight is even though as overmatched as Berto was, Mayweather still didn't even open up on Andre Berto and really beat him in a sound, you know, really, you know, entertaining way. I mean, it just was another fight that was not entertaining at all. I mean, these guys look like they were playing red light, green light in the ring. Him and Andre Berto, like, you throw, all right, freeze, I'll throw. I mean, it was terrible. It was a horrible fight. And I think what's happening right now, he's on this UK tour because he's trying to desperately get praise from the boxing fans, but boxing fans are really upset with Floyd Mayweather. And I think that's why he can't handle the fact that there's a new cash cow and that there's big fights being announced and his name isn't part of it.
Definitely. I think that's a major, you made some very good points. I think that's exactly what it is. When the fans reject you like they did him, I think it was very hurtful to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fans sent him a very clear message that they were very upset. When the fans give you a pay-per-view and you sell over 4.6 million buys,
mm-hmm.
in your next fight, according to Yahoo Sports, you do 400,000 buys, fans are sending you a direct message that they're tired of your shit. That was a direct message sent to Floyd when he only sold 400,000 in that fight. And the fans are pissed off, and I can't blame him. You had Manny Pacquiao talking about he got a shoulder injury going into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said he had the shoulder injury. He hurt it during the fight. When did you get the shoulder injury? When did you get it? Then you had Floyd Mayweather get the therapeutic use exemption 3 weeks after the fight. So both of those guys basically just ran a scam on the fans.
Basically.
I can't blame the fans. And they gonna show Manny Pacquiao in this Bradley fight. Well, they gonna show his ass too. But the fans are upset with him as well.
Yeah, they are. They
are. They're gonna show him when he fights Bradley.
Yep.
They're gonna show him what they think about him. And they showed Floyd, man, when he fought Berto.
agree, and I think that this fight with Danny Garcia would do even worse. I think the numbers would be even worse. It's going to be an even harder sell, and the thing is, I don't even think he could. He can't even take back that holiday from Canelo right now because Canelo has it. That's Canelo's day. Boxing moves on very quickly, and right now, the Mexicans are behind that fight. I think Mayweather, if he's gonna come back, he's got to do two things. First of all, he's got to take some time away from the game and just hope that somehow people are going to forget his last two outings. He's going to have to take some time away from the boxing game. He's going to have to step aside and not rush back because right now people have a bad taste in their mouths, like you said, and they're frustrated. So I think that he's not going to be received coming back right away to fight Danny Garcia. People are not going to be interested in that. It's just not going to happen. He has to give them time to forget what he's done. And I think the backlash from the Pacquiao fight was so big because it was on such a big stage, and people let their opinions known in that Berto fight that I think that damage might be undoable. But that'd be one of the things he has to do. Rushing back is not the answer. That's number one. Number two, he's got to have a dance partner. It's got to be a really good dance partner. That Berto fight proved to Mayweather and a lot of Mayweather fans that he himself is not going to be able to just come out and just fight anybody and sell tickets. It's going to have to be versus it's got to be a big name, and most likely, it would have to be someone around a specific type of holiday. A certain nationality, certain holiday, probably a Mexican holiday, and we understand that's the recipe for getting extremely high pay-per-view numbers. But I just think that right now, fans are not interested in this, man. This Danny Garcia fight, people are already bashing it. They're already upset about it. People aren't even looking at Danny Garcia like he's a legit champion. So who in the hell would want to see Mayweather come back and fight Danny Garcia? It's just a complete farce.
Yeah, most people view the Herrera fight, they view that as a robbery. They view the Lamont Peterson fight as a robbery. And Mayweather himself said that the last guy he fought?
Robert Guerrero.
Yeah, Mayweather himself told FightHype.com that the Robert Guerrero fight was a robbery. He said Robert Guerrero won the fight. How can you sell that fight when you're basically saying the guy you want to fight lost his last fight? He got two other robberies. No fan in the world is going to give Danny Garcia a shot. His best asset is a left hook. Anyone in their right mind knows he's never going to catch Floyd Mayweather with a hook. He's not going to outbox Floyd Mayweather. He doesn't have more power than Floyd Mayweather. There's nothing in his arsenal that tells me he has a chance of beating Floyd Mayweather. The only thing would be exciting about that fight is two fathers, Angel Garcia and Floyd Mayweather Sr. going at it. That's the only selling point in that fight.
Yeah, and Mayweather has already begun moonwalking away from your point of the fact that, Guerrero beat Danny Garcia in his mind. He's already moonwalking away from that, and he's in full used car salesman mode, and he's talking about how Garcia is a young champion, he's an undefeated fighter, and he's talking about, like how you said, him versus Danny Garcia is a mega fight. So he's already starting to try to sell this to the fans, and he did this before. He tried to do this versus Maidana. He tried to do it versus Andre Berto, which was extremely unsuccessful. And I think the fans are just not interested in hearing these lies from Mayweather right now. They're just over it. They're very upset. And I just think it's not a smart move on his part to try to come back and try to fight Danny Garcia, or maybe even anyone for that matter. But I think he's just so unhappy with the reception that he's getting right now that I just feel like he's just desperate for that attention, and he's desperate to try to go out on a high note. But Danny Garcia definitely is not that high note. He ain't it. It's not Danny Garcia, man.
That's Triple G and Manny Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that Danny Garcia is a big enough name to shut down